Thank you for joining us on our Family First Life Tri-State Serve the People podcast. We appreciate you tuning in, spending your time to develop and grow with us. Follow us, please, on all our social media platforms at Family First Life Tri-State or FFL Tri-State. We love you. Keep listening, and I hope this information is serving you across the country. All right, everybody, thank you for jumping on with us for our Family First Life Tri-State Your Story podcast. We appreciate you listening in. Thank you for tuning in with us. We're excited to bring you my man Omar Mitchell, Senior Sales Manager of FFL Midwest. But we know that the stuff that he's doing today was derived and rooted from somewhere. So we want to know a little bit about the man behind the microphone today, and we want to know a little bit about his story. So first off, Omar, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well, Mark. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you having me today.
Appreciate you jumping on with us and being able to share. So everybody has a path in life, Omar, and, you know, everybody's path is different. That's what makes this podcast extremely unique, So if you don't mind, could you walk us down the path of some of the things that made you the man you are today? We'd be blessed by that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Again, my name's Omar Mitchell, and I come from the inner city of Pittsburgh. I was born and raised, go Steelers. But it really, I grew up in a tough neighborhood, a part of town called Homewood. It's a really rough part of town still. And I think that kind of molded me in my first part of my life. What was different about me in a lot of instances compared to a lot of the other kids in the neighborhood, I was blessed. You know how sometimes there's things that, advantages that God gives you that you just kind of luck out. Both my parents were in the house. Most of my friends' fathers weren't around. My dad was always there from day one. My mother and father are still married today. So that kind of gave me a good foundation. Although it was tough, my parents were fearful whenever I walked out the door because it wasn't the greatest of neighborhoods. But I knew I always had that foundation when I came back home, and I had an example of two people that worked their butts off to provide for me and my brother. So that's kind of where I kind of got, my work ethic from growing up. I had a severe stuttering problem.
Really?
I couldn't put two words together to save my life.
Wow.
So yeah. So it still comes up when I get a little nervous, and I just gotta woosah and slow down. But yeah, just going through that experience and really, trying to find myself and escape from that neighborhood and seeing my parents work their butts off. I just knew, man, I didn't want to work as hard as them for what they had. Don't get me wrong. I love my parents, and they did what they could with what they had.
Right.
My dad didn't graduate from high school. He had a 7th grade education, but he was an entrepreneur all his life. My mom, she was a nurse at the same hospital, and she actually, when I was graduating middle school around the same time, she graduated with her pharmacy degree. So I seen both sides, an entrepreneur that worked his butt off and someone who was highly educated also work her butt off. So it kind of gave me a good idea of what I wanted to do in life and gave me some goals to where, they weren't given the best odds when they first started out. So, going into high school, started to play sports, started to really see an out from where I was at, right? So, again, God has a way of putting people in your life that sometimes your parents can't tell you enough. You need that other person's voice. So my counselor, Mr. Tyler Farrell, always, give a shout out to him. He's the one that pushed me and said, hey, if you want to get education is the way to get out, So I ended up going across school to a different high school because the one in my neighborhood wasn't that great. So I would catch a bus about an hour and a half before high school started to get to, every day.
Wow.
To get across the city. So that opened my eyes up to where it wasn't just my neighborhood. It was now I can see other people's and other socioeconomic classes and other, races instead of just being encapsulated in the hood, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great experience. That kind of, shot me off like a rocket. Played football, loved baseball, but I was way better at football. Got a scholarship. Was actually about to go into the Navy until I got the scholarship because I wanted to be a pilot. But we ended up getting an academic and a sports scholarship to Slippery Rock University, where I went, which is like about 45 minutes north of Pittsburgh. So went there, graduated. I was on the 5-year plan. I enjoyed myself. In some cases, too much, but hey,
5-year plan. I enjoyed myself. I like that.
It's something that I really don't teach my kids today, but I say, hey, it was in the moment. We had a great time. That's where I met the love of my wife that we're still married today. So yeah, I think I'm blessed in a lot of things in my life, man, just to see where I'm at now compared to where 8 out of the 10 friends that I grew up with are either dead or in jail. So I'm happy to say that people were there to help me, but also I do see some of the decisions that I made when I was younger that helped me get to where I am today. So graduated from Slippery Rock, degree in exercise physiology, exercise science, and got married right after college.
Like that.
So, and that's where that appreciation of all the things my mom and dad did, that work ethic. I saw, my wife, Kyla, right now, she's my rock. But at that point, we got married, she got pregnant, she wasn't working. I had to go to work. I see my mom and dad set the example. I was like, look, it's time for me to go to work. I was in a different industry. My degree was in exercise science, but I ended up working in the gyms, owning fitness clubs for about 5 or 6 years after college.
Got it.
So had a lot of people. And getting back to my speech impediment, I always gravitated towards things where it would put me in front of people, so I had to talk.
Wow.
When I was in college, I took because I still had an issue coming out of high school. I was really behind a lot of my other classmates, where I really didn't read my first book until like I was a junior in high school, right? So my English skills, my vocabulary skills, they were really, really low at that point. And because I couldn't really articulate, getting to college and taking every type of public speaking class, every type of class where I have to get up and talk to people really, really helped me and kind of, put me on the map. And then even always gravitating towards sales, where you're in a pressure situation and you have to articulate, you have to be able to communicate with people. So that really helped me get over that speech impediment and really start getting the confidence to, okay, it's go time. So open some gyms, partner with a couple of other, great mentors. And we eventually, about 6 years into it, selling those and made a little bit of money. Not enough to retire on by any means, by any means. But at that time, during those 5 years, I started building my family, my wife. We had our daughter about a year after we got married. We had our son 2 years later, and we were done. I had a daughter and a son. I was like, American dream, boy and a girl, it's done. And my wife comes and tells me that she's pregnant. I was like, well, how that happened? So, God has a way of, so I think we were complaining a little bit. Oh, we're going to be uneven. We're going to have a boy, 2 boys and a girl, or 2 girls and a boy. We were complaining, and then I remember like it was yesterday. I was driving to work because that's always I'm always at work. My wife calls me from her doctor's appointment saying that they found 2 heartbeats.
Ooh. I didn't know
So
where
I'm
this was
like, "What do you
going.
mean?"
I had no
I was
idea
like,
where
"What
this
do you
was going.
mean?" I was like, "Yours and the baby?"
Yo, we
She
are
was like,
done. By the way, you
"No."
scaring me. Me and
Yeah.
Robin are done. You just
So I
scared
was
the
like,
bejesus out of me.
"Yes, hey, man." I almost crashed my Jeep. I was like, "Wait a minute," because kids are expensive. I
Yes,
was like, "I'm
sir.
working my butt off." So, but by the grace of God, it
Woo.
was a blessing. But it was like, we were complaining about being uneven. So God was like, "Okay, here's a boy and a girl.
Wow. How
Stop
about
complaining."
that?
So we ended up having twins. So
Oh,
so it's
boy.
yeah. It was a surreal real experience, and my wife's a trooper, man. She carried those two crazy. And what happened? I was selling. I was in the gym, 70 hours a week, and like I said, God puts people in your life. My mother-in-law came and helped us live with us for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and helped us with that because the last 3 months of her pregnancy was rough. She was in on bed rest in the hospital.
Hmm.
So I had a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a wife pregnant with twins in the hospital.
Wow.
So yeah, it was, we look back, it's crazy, but people step up in your family, so got through that. But then, once I left the fitness industry and I got into mortgages and real estate, loved doing that for a while. But it just came to the point it was just too much red tape. I was fed up. I was tired of that. I was like, let me just go back, get my master's in computers. I love computers. Do something in IT. They make great money. I was more looking at, okay, I need to support my family. A guy that I'm still good friends with today. He was very successful selling insurance at a different IMO.
Hmm.
So I asked him, I said, I can sell. I need something to do while I'm getting my master's. So I got introduced to the insurance industry at a much lower comp, I must say, as it seems like we all do at some point in our career. But I started making more money than I would have made doing computers, and I was like, and I actually like this. So why the heck am I spending another 40,000 on my masters?
Wow.
So I told my, sat down with my wife, said, hey, I really think I want to get into insurance and do this full time because the upside was so much higher than
Right.
just sitting in a cubicle looking at a computer screen all day.
No doubt.
So that's how I got introduced into the insurance industry.
That's strong.
Been doing this, stayed with the first company for about 6 years.
Hmm.
Loved them. Nothing bad to say about them. Great people. Still have great friends from that experience. But when it came down to actually being able to build a business and being able to recruit and bring people on, it was just a conveyor belt. People in, people out, people in, people out, people in, people out, and I wasn't able to help people. I was doing well, but I couldn't help them.
Yeah, we hear a lot of that. We hear a lot of that.
So, I got kind of jaded about the insurance industry.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just like, I started looking at other things. I was in real estate. I was in stocks. I was doing Forex. I was doing, I was doing, and I was making money. Like, because I think my work ethic, no matter what you do, if you work hard, you're going to be successful. That's it. You just have to have the right vehicle to be, to become great. So I was doing that. Mark Tirolio, who I'm direct to and my business partner, he was with another IMO. He was like, look, I know you're jaded. Just come on over. Let's see what we can do. Make you a home here. So I went there, did well, actually did better than I had done in the mortgage industry for a while, kind of got invigorated. And then Mark left. I was like, Mark, where'd you go? I was like, what's going on, man? I was like, you got me over here. I'm doing this. I'm not. and to back up, I wasn't all in. I was doing better than I had been, but I still had my toe in everything else. I was I was day trading for like 2 hours in the morning. I was writing. I mean, when you're a hustler and you know how to make money, your focus is a little bit different, especially when you have a lot of different opportunities.
No doubt.
You're not laser focused on one thing, right? So was there for a while. I called Mark because I trusted him. He brought me to other company. I was with him when we went at the original company. Good dude, always had great respect for him. But he was making a killing at the other company, like 50, 60 grand a month, doing well. And I was like, and I know how they play with your money when you leave them. Right? Yeah. For him to say, so that piqued my interest. I was like, my ear's always to the street, Mark. You know what I mean? Like what's the next thing? That was me. I was like, oh, like this guy was left to go to this place called Family First Life where I had never heard of. I was like who's like, is this just another place? Just a new MLM or whatever. They got you hyped. And I asked him, seriously, I'm like, bro, like, tell me, like, why'd you leave? And his words were prophetic. He was like, I was eating, but my team wasn't. And I remember like conversation like it was yesterday, this morning, because that was my major issue. I was always doing well at it. And when you're training people, when you're inspiring people, when you're hiring people, when you're pouring all the effort and time into them and they cannot figure it out because it has to do with just the compensation that they're getting paid for the work they're doing. It definitely not only piqued my interest, it made me want to figure out if this would work for me, because I was tired, even though I was making money and doing well. I was tired of doing so many other things. Right. I love working with clients. I love my clients dearly. I love sitting in the house with them, drinking coffee after we get them, get them covered. And I have clients that I've had for 8 years that I still talk to on a daily basis sometimes. So got with Mark. He explained what the FFL opportunity was. And I told him, I was like, man, this looks like what I've been looking for the last 8 years. I was like, but I still wasn't in though. Crazy. Like, how sometimes you see it, and it was like, man, and you see the people that are doing. It's like, I know I'm talented. I know I can do it. Like I have more confidence. If you ask my wife, she thinks I'm the most confident dude in the world. But for me, it's my confidence comes from because I know I work my ass off. I know when it comes down to it, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to put feet to the street, ear to the phone. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it. So yeah, so I'd seen it. I was like, I told Mark I'm in. So I came in. I look back and I say I still wasted that first 4 months with the company because I still had my hands in so many other pots. I had to make sure it was something that was real for me. I was like, I know I'm here. I love what people are saying, but let me see how this is going to work first. Let me get into it, write some policies. I'm still doing some day trading here and there. I'm still doing Forex. I'm still doing some other real estate stuff. So then convention happened. I told Mark, during convention, like this is like I was in, but now I'm in.
Wow.
Like I was in already, but now like all the other stuff on hold. This is the laser focus. This is where I need to be. I, the tiger, he tells it, man. Like I knew exactly from conference. I was laser focused back in February 2021. And, I know who I had to hire. I know the office space that I needed to get. It was showtime. It was definitely showtime, man.
That's massive, dude. What about it? What about convention that tipped the scale for you? What was it that you saw or heard that made you go, dude, I'm wasting my time with everything else. I'm all in.
Yeah. It was, you know, it was seeing so many people that just worked. I mean, it was always had a theme of, we're just going to go ahead and go to work. So, yeah. I mean, convention, I mean, set my hair on fire, Mark. I'm still trying to figure out how to strike that balance between production
And building.
and building a team. And it's almost like I'm starting to understand, and you've been beating it into everybody's head. If you focus on production, increasing your production, producing at a high level, you're going to bring people with you. You're going to bring people, from all around when they start seeing your success, when they start seeing the numbers that you're putting up.
So with your eyes dead set on, making it happen in 2022, how do you see, the landscape of Family First Life, everything that we are blessed to have access to, Integrity Marketing Group? How do you see that catapulting your success into the future?
I just see it as, I'm a big person. If someone wants to run, let's run. I can work every day. But when you see Sean as the president running and how fast the company is moving, you can't help but hop on the train. You know what I mean? It's like you see so many people having momentum and pushing. I mean, you can't help but do. I mean, this is what we do, right? So I mean, I'm super excited, but it's that, but also the ability. The people are so sharing in this company. Like, you don't have to try to sneak into someone else's training. Everybody's all, you know what I mean? It's like no one's trying to keep what they're doing secret.
Right.
FFL 320 gave the whole breakdown of what they do and how they've been successful.
Yeah.
All these other groups that have no problem sharing their success.
Right.
And it's just if you don't get inspired by that, if you don't, if that doesn't rub off on you, I mean, you're just not living. I mean, this business is incredible. The insurance industry is very, very, but FFL is like insurance on steroids. I mean, the systems we have here, the support, not only from your office, from Brian's office, from Mark Tirolia's office. I mean, there's so many examples that we have in front of us that are doing this business right. We can't help but to grow, at a very fast pace. So, yeah.
I feel that. Hearing you say that, man, I want to believe that Sean always had a vision for this, but I remember the way we started. Dude, we were just trying to stay alive. We were just tired of getting taken advantage of. Like, this industry people are so used to being taken advantage of. How freeing is it to feel like you can just run as fast as you want in an open field and win? Like, that's got to feel liberating, because it sounds like before, you were dibbling dabbling, you were doing what you were doing, but you knew this was a great business, but to have never seen anything like this. And then we're here 9 years later, and we are Family First Life. And it's like, now we're the place that people go to where they want to do something crazy massive. So when I heard you say that, it was like, wow. I mean, everything that we laid out through the years to be here today as a beacon of hope for agents, which that definitely was Sean's goal from day one, was to put agents in a position to win without question. But to hear it as profoundly as you just stated it, gave me chills, man.
It's motivating, man. There's there's so many examples. I mean, you just can't. I mean, and it's almost like I'm super happy for those other people, but also I'm super selfish. Like that's going to be Midwest. That's going to be my group on stage. That's going to be me wearing the red jacket in conference next year. So it's like I said, if you don't have direction in this company, you're just not looking. You're just not looking, man.
Dude, you killed it, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate
What an amazing story. I always say I learn so much more about somebody when I do this podcast than I could do if I was sitting with them for 4 hours. It's so pointed for you to go back to your childhood. You usually don't have those conversations. I probably do need to do a better job of that. But it's just amazing to hear your story. And then you're going to have a massive 2022. So I'm excited for all the success to come. And I'm happy to be in business with you, Omar. I appreciate you sharing.
Hey, I appreciate you. And again, I appreciate all you do for us, man.
Let's go out there. Let's crush it. You heard the man. He said if it wasn't for annual convention, he'd still be dibbing and dabbing all over the place. He went on all in after annual convention. Let's get to Miami. Let's do what we got to do. Let's come out there being successful. Omar, appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening. We love you. Take care.